as Washington weighs a cash-for-uranium formula, is the latest sign of US defeat that Donald Trump may now end up paying billions of dollars to the very country he bombed? With a $20 billion payout reportedly back on the table for Iran's uranium stockpile, is the US resorting to hard cash because its war plan has failed to stop Tehran's nuclear advances? After publicly snubbing this payment plan once before over political optics, is Trump now preparing for a U-turn as his advisors push him to accept the deal? As Trump ramps up nuclear demands and adds new conditions that Iran won't accept, is Washington's peace proposal at risk of becoming a mockery? The United States has revived a proposal that links the transfer of Iran's enriched uranium to the release of frozen Iranian funds and targeted sanctions relief, according to Wired. Under this proposal, Washington offered to release about $20 billion in frozen Iranian assets in exchange for Iran giving up its enriched uranium stockpile. Reports say the draft deal also called for Iran to halt its uranium enrichment activities for a period of roughly 12 to 15 years. J.D. Vance, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner have reportedly backed this negotiation framework in internal U.S. discussions. Wired reported that the proposal initially had the approval of President Donald Trump during earlier stages of the talks. Trump later rejected the plan because of concerns over the political optics of releasing large sums of money to Tehran. Despite that, the same basic framework has once again resurfaced in current US-Iran diplomatic discussions over ending the war and constraining Iran's nuclear program. At the same time, the United States has ramped up its demands regarding the scope of Iran's nuclear activities, according to multiple reports. Washington now wants Iran to hand over all of its uranium stockpile, not just the highly enriched portions above weapons-relevant levels, the Wall Street Journal and others report. The US is also seeking to dismantle or permanently disable Iran's nuclear facilities at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Additionally, US negotiators are pushing for strict, long-term limits on Iran's nuclear activity that would remain in place well beyond any initial deal period. The proposed conditions include intrusive international inspections and automatic penalties in the event of future violations by Iran. Taken together, these terms mark one of Washington's toughest nuclear positions against Iran so far, going further than the 2015 nuclear agreement. These negotiations are unfolding amid reports that the United States has presented Iran with an emergency one-page memorandum of understanding summarizing the proposed package. According to two U.S. officials cited by Axios, the Trump administration has already handed Tehran a fresh set of proposed conditions. Washington is reportedly expecting a formal Iranian response within the next 48 hours, though no breakthrough has been officially confirmed so far. However, Trump's proposed terms are said to depend entirely on a final agreement, leaving the possibility of renewed military action still open. The conditions listed out by Trump administration are: Iran would reportedly commit to a long-term moratorium on all uranium enrichment-related activities under the proposed framework. In return, the United States would agree to gradually lift major economic sanctions imposed on Iran over the years. Washington is also expected to release billions of dollars in previously frozen Iranian financial assets as part of the deal. Both Tehran and Washington would simultaneously move toward ending the blockade and restoring navigation through the Strait of Hormuz.
Iran that has refused to submit. You seem optimistic now that you may be closer to a deal. What's different about this moment now than in other moments where a deal has seemed close?
Well, why do you say they refused to submit? You don't know that. You don't know what's going on.
They were firing on U.S. ships a few days ago.
Yeah, no, a few days ago is a long time ago. You know, in the world of war, a few days ago. No, they want to make a deal badly, and we'll see if we get there. If we get there, they can't have nuclear weapons. You know, it's very simple. But what's not to submit? So they had a Navy with 159 ships, and now every ship is blown to pieces and lying at the bottom of the water. They had an Air Force, lots of planes, and they don't have any planes. They don't have any anti-aircraft. They don't have any radar left. Their missiles are mostly decimated. They have some. They have probably 18-19%, but not a lot by comparison to what they had. And their leaders are all dead. So I think we won. Now it's only a question of, look, if we left right now Iran, it would take them 20 years to rebuild. You would call that, we're in good shape, right?
Fantastic.
We're in good shape. And now we're doing well. Now we have to get what we have to get. If we don't do that, we'll have to go a big step further. But with that being said, they want to make a deal. We've had very good talks over the last 24 hours. And it's very possible that we'll make a deal.
So,
Yeah,
Mr.
please.
President, thank you, Mr. President. Good to see you. What are the status of these talks? You said they're very good. Just give some insight as to where we are with them at this point.
And we've had some good talks before, as you know.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the next day, they're like, they forgot what happened. They're proud, like these guys are proud. Nobody more proud than these guys. Sometimes they fight on pride because, they're injured, they're hurt. No matter how great you are, you get hit by somebody else that looks like them. It's very tough, but they have great pride. These people have great pride. The others do too. Enemies have great pride. We went into Venezuela. Smart people, great people. They have a really strong military. We won it very quickly, and we have a fantastic. It's been a great thing for Venezuela. The people are really happy. They're dancing in the streets because they have a lot of money coming in through the big oil companies that are all moving in. I was with ExxonMobil last night. The chairman was here, and we were talking about Venezuela, along with a lot of them. Chevron. They were all here last night. They all want to go there and elsewhere. We just hit a new high in the stock market. The stock market's the highest it's ever been. And I expected that the market would be down 20-25%. I was willing to do that to get rid of a crazy country. Crazy. The people, look, you talk about regime change. Their first level leaders are dead. Their second level leaders are dead. Some of their third level leaders are dead. I call that regime change. I hate to do this, but we have to make an excursion down to Iran because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Look, and this is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon because as tough as they are, we want to keep them alive. We want to keep all of you alive. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't. And they've agreed to that, among other things.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.